Day the blue flame. Sorry, my brain's going faster than my mouth right now. Kind of drank a Kickstarter a little bit ago. Um, uh, I decided to do a little test, see if I have ADD, because um, uh, even though as far as I know of, I was not diagnosed with it, but I'm pretty sure I have some signs at least. So I'm going to make sure with this. That way I can be like, um, uh, hey, how come this says I have it, but you won't? You know? And I decided to make a recording out of it. That way we can know. That way you guys can know more about me. And don't worry, whenever I always tell the truth anyway. So, alright. Attention deficit hyperactivity disorder is somewhat difficult to diagnose. Why? Well, for one thing, the symptoms are common problems that everyone faces. We are all forgetful, distracted, restless, overwhelmed, or actually, and losing track of things now and then. So, what makes ADHD a disorder? What are the signs? When inattention, procrastination, overwhelm, and restlessness are constant, frustrating problems that undermine many areas of your life, it's a disorder. Note: this quiz has been approved by two independent ADHD specialists. It will give you a sense of whether or not you have this mindset, but it will not replace a proper assessment by a doctor who understands ADHD. This quiz is not intended to give you a definitive medical diagnosis. I understand. There are 18 quick questions. The first 9 explore inattention and focus. Of course, life is rarely black and white. If what we are describing happens to you regularly, then select yes. Select no if it's hardly ever or not at all. Okay, start quiz. Poor attention to detail. I often make small mistakes in my work. I skim read. I tend to rush things. I mess up dates, get numbers wrong, or fail to notice typos. I often overlook details in filling out forms or forget to add attachments to emails. Um, uh, I do forget to add attachments to emails. Um, uh, some I sometimes do rush things sometimes. Um, uh, I'm very good with dates and numbers. I very rarely miss typos. Very rare. So I think there's more of no than yes. Next. I am easily distracted. I find it difficult to stick with longer tasks, even leisure activities. I may go off to do something else, or I end up doing several things at once. I struggle to follow through on complex tasks. Short deadlines work best for me. Um, uh, Taryn, right now is not the time. 1 minute, people. Okay, I am back. I answered all of Mr. Nosey's question, also known as Taryn. Um, uh, when it comes to, I do sometimes find it difficult for longer tasks, but it's only when it doesn't really pique my interests. But if it does pique my interest, I will go along with it all the way. Um, uh, Sometimes I do go off to do something else, but that's only if it doesn't really pique my interest. Um, uh, and no, short deadlines are not the best for me, because then I get all stressed out, and then I'm like, fuck, when the time is up. So, um, uh, I, since it does say any, I would have to go with yes. Poor listener. I find it. I find I am easily distracted during longer conversations. I tend to tune out. I may be looking right at someone, but I'm lost in thought. My mind often wanders. I often miss what's being said. Yeah, that's already me right there. So I, so I have to ask people to repeat themselves. Yep. Sometimes I even lose track of what I'm saying, or I go off on a tang. What the fuck does that say? Jesus Christ. Um, uh, I can't even make a conversation make me very long. My conversations usually last about I would say about 10 minutes most. That's not very long. um, uh, I do lose track of my own thoughts. Um, uh, and my mind does wander a lot. Um, uh, I think there'd be one, three, four. Yeah, I think it's more of yes than no. To be honest, don't follow instructions. I prefer to jump right in rather than read through instructions, guides, or recipes. Yeah, that's me. I don't really read instructions. Yeah, I don't really read much instructions. The only time I ever read instructions is whenever I absolutely have to. There's very few times I even have to. I don't have regular routines at work or home. Uh, I do. I like my routine. I struggle with schedules or plans. We've already covered that. I have a routine, which is part of schedules and plans. I am not being obstinate. I know what to do. I just can't seem to do it. Mm, mm, well, it's already a yes because there's way more yes than no on here right now. I feel disorganized. I have trouble organizing my work schedule, social life, and family obligations. I create long to-do lists, then find them overwhelming. Planning a big project feels daunting. I procrastinate because I can't see where to start or figure out what I need. Well, that's one of the reasons why I don't really make long to-do lists because of that exact reason. It tends to feel overwhelming. Um, uh, Family obligations I don't really have. And with people like my dad, I don't have any family obligations to them at all because they're total freaking assholes. If you met them, you would agree. um, uh, Planning a big project, I never really make big. I never do any big projects. The biggest project I would ever be expecting to make is most likely um uh, me making my own office, like making my own room, making the walls for it, um uh, all that. That's probably the biggest project I'm expecting to make in my life, to be honest. um uh, mm, I do procrastinate some, but only when it does not pique my interests. So um uh, I think there's more of no. I avoid tasks that require sustained mental effort. I struggle to finish things that demand a lot of focus for a long period of time. Other times I get in the zone and hyper focus. Yeah, that is me. Um, uh, though for me to go into hyper focus, those of you who do not know what hyper focus is basically where you focus all the way up to the point where you're focused on nothing else but that one thing. That is it. Like sometimes I'd be playing a game on Terran's Xbox, and I would hyper focus. I'd hear nothing but the game. I'd see nothing but the game. So basically, all my senses is focused on the game. If it piques my interest, hyper focus. Um, uh, I avoid routine tasks that feel monotonous, repetitive, or boring. If it's part of my routine, then I usually do it anyway, even if I do find it monotonous, repetitive, or boring. So I can't really say I avoid them. When faced with big, important tasks, I would do a bunch of trivial chores instead. I hate paperwork. I do hate paperwork, that is true, but I do it anyway because if it's important, I would have to do it sometime. Better get it done and over with. So, I think it would be more of um. Uh, let's see. Let's see. I don't do that. I don't avoid. Um. Uh, that I will not do. So. I I don't even know what to call. I'm gonna do it. 1 minute. Let me get a freaking coin or something. Because I can't even tell. Um, this will work. Flip a coin. If anyone, if anyone can't tell, this is a Naruto coin. It was when I was younger. So, this is heads. This is tails. Heads. All right. Okay, 1 minute. I'm reaching my recording limit. Okay, I am back. I forgot to explain. Heads will be no. Tails would be yes. Since we got heads, that means it would be a no. Put that right there, real quick. Often lose things I need. Yeah, I can already tell that it's gonna be yes. I often misplace things like my phone, keys, or TV remote. I just had it a minute ago. I often lose important paperwork or cannot find something I just brought. My home or workspace is clustered, piles everywhere, things I have to be out where I can see them. Otherwise, I worry that I'll forget about them. Do any of these sound familiar? Um, uh, Things like misplacing my phone, keys, yes. Otherwise, no. So it's more of no than yes. Easily distracted. Damn. I am easily distracted by conversations, noises, or activities happening around me. Yeah, that is true. Whenever I hear a noise or something that I hear, I get distracted. I'm like, what is that? I pretty much like freaking dog off of Up. Like, squirrel! Like that. I'm often lost in thought. My mind will be far away, imagining interesting ideas, situations, or conversations. That is true right there. Like I'd sometimes be out for like a walk, and my mind would be wandering so far away. I'd be imagining interesting ideas, situations, or conversations. All three. Heck, sometimes all of them would be in the same thing at the same time. I'm pretty smart, but I but a bit absent-minded. I've been called a daydreamer. I haven't been called a daydreamer. I've been called more of a freaking idiot because I'd be wondering so far off. And I would consider myself pretty smart, considering that throughout while I was been in school, even back in freaking kindergarten, all the way up to when I graduate, when I graduated, um, uh, I had A's and B's the whole time. Very rarely would you see me having C's. It's very rare to see a C in my freaking grade card. Be having more of A's than anything. Because most subjects I'd be I'd, I'd be going through them so quickly because I know the answers. Because unlike most children, I didn't really get to um uh, play on my own personal Xbox 360 because I used to have an Xbox 360 I paid for, but my asshole of a dad decided to give it to Marna. So ever since that happened, I basically went to the library and studied. But before Marta came along, I just went to the library because I didn't really get any money. I didn't get paid. I did not have a job. So what I did was I went to the library and studied. So 1 minute. All right, I'm back again. I need to see what the heck was that because I heard Sharon's mom sneeze. I heard it from all the way in here, and she was over in the living room. So I need to check out what the heck was it. So, all right, we're back. Okay, let's continue. Um, uh, I think there's more of yes and no. Forgetful. I often lose track of what I'm supposed to be doing or what I've already done. I'll forget to pack something and have to go back. I'm bad with names. I forget appointments or promises. When I'm alone, I talk out loud to myself and stay on track. I have sticky notes everywhere. I've brought things and then realized I already owned one. Um, uh, that's actually a no for me because I don't really lose track of what I'm doing, but um, uh, I Me, I'd actually, me, I'd be more of forget what I'm saying than doing. Because sometimes my brain goes faster than my mouth, so that's why I stutter a lot. So, um, uh, so yep. So I think it's, and I am very good with names. Um, uh, on, like, see, I'm good with names, but when it comes to faces, that's what catches me. I'm like, who are you? And then when they say their name, I'm like, oh, that's right. It's been a while. So, so I think it's more of no than yes. Submit. Let's see. That's the nine inattention symptoms. You finished part one. Your total is 4 out of 9. Inattentive, low score. If you've scored 4 or less, you may not be ADHD. It may that be something that's going on for ADHD. The threshold score is 5 or more. You scored 4 or less, which suggests it may be something other than ADHD, so there's no need to proceed to the second half of the quiz. You may be overly stressed by a recent divorce, which is bullshit because I've never been married. Though I have been through 17 different relationships. That's another story though, for another time. A death in the family. There's been a lot actually. Um, uh, though the last one was freaking 4 years ago. Though the doctors say that my dad's gonna die if his anger keeps on going up. So, which wouldn't really care. I don't really care because he's a freaking asshole, to be honest. Um, uh, or other life changes. That's another thing about me. I hate change. That's the one thing I hate. If something in my schedule changes, I will be pissed. Like heck, if if I'm late for something, and then all of a sudden I'm too late and it's already done, I'm like, son of a bitch. You'd be you'd be hearing me yelling, yelling. You'd be hearing me yelling like a freaking sailor because I missed one thing. I hate change because if something if something suddenly changes that I didn't know about, I'd be flying off the handle. I have to know I have to know about it at least 2 weeks ahead of time for me not to fly off the handle. So, yeah. Um, uh, it might also be another one of a number of medical issues. This is something to discuss with your doctor, as well as 1/3 of kids diagnosed with ADHD outgrow the symptoms by adulthood. Sometimes childhood symptoms get converted into anxiety or nervous tension. Many of adults with undiagnosed ADHD develop ways to manage some of their challenges. If you still feel focus, overwhelm, or distraction are a problem, consider what your answers would have been when you were in grade 3. Would your score be different? Most likely. Um, uh, Continue to learn about ADHD and see what resonates with you. The tools and strategies adults use to manage their ADHD can help anyone who is overwhelmed and stressed. Again, this is not a substitute for a full assessment and diagnosis by a doctor. Yes, you already said that once. I do not need it repeated. Thank you. Alright, so we figured out more about me at least. I am not ADD or ADHD, so which is actually kind of surprising. Um, uh, um, if you're wondering why I'm moving, like my head is moving slightly, it's because I'm shaking my legs. I just can't stand still. Um, uh, I'm moving side to side, which kind of sounds wrong in a way. Anyway, we find out more about me, I guess. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Um, uh, I hope you like and follow me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter, punch me on Instagram, and subscribe today. Remember, stay calm and be awesome. See you later. God damn it.